Welcome to Fowl Play, the sequel to the Nut Heist. In the Nut Heist, the adventure focused on the forces of the Kingdom of Acorna. In this installment, the adventure revolves around the Black Eastern Chipmunk Squad, known as the Becks, the Delta Force of the Chipmunk Kingdom of Doosan, and their newest member, Elgar. Sit back and enjoy the adventure, for who knows what will happen in the woods when foul play is involved. Fowl Play by Trisha M. Wilson. Episode 1, Chapter 1, The New BECS.
Dear Ma and Pa, I just arrived at HQ. That means headquarters for you non-military chipmunk folk. And boy, is it interesting. Each of us secret operatives has our own room. You know, I never did get a room to myself, and now I get one. This room they gave me is huge. I get a big twin bed and everything. I don't got no windows, but then I didn't expect to when they told me that all the bedrooms were in the heart of the tree. That's because we don't want nobody to break into this here place and know what we're doing. A window would be nice, but I can't complain none. I haven't had a chance to meet any of the other secret agent operatives yet, but I did meet the leader. She's a girl. Yes, a girl. I know. Whoever thunk of a girl being the leader of a secret agent squad? Anyway, her name is Jasna, and she just seems like the nicest chipmunk you'd ever meet. I think you'd like her, Ma. She met me off the sleigh at the station, and she's been real nice to me. She realized right off the bat that I was speechless, as she showed me how to get into HQ, because she talked real nice about how she would answer any questions I had. I should be ending this now because I think it's chow time, and I can't wait to meet all my fellow secret agents. I wonder if there'll be any more girls. Anyway, I was told to tell you that if anyone asked about where I went, you should tell them I went off to visit some real distant relatives. I don't know why being a special agent is a secret, but Jasna told me that we've got to be real hush-hush about it, like the neighbors don't already know where I am. Anyway, give my love to everyone. I miss you, but this is so exciting. I promise I'll write real soon. Your loving son, Elgar. P.S. Tell Aunt Clara I really appreciate her getting me this gig. I've always wanted to be a secret agent, and now I get to.
Elgar finished reading over the letter before closing it and putting it in an envelope. He was so excited that his fur bristled with anticipation, and he could hardly sit still. His chipmunk tail swished around with unreleased energy. As he started to get up, someone knocked on his door. Opening the door, he saw Jasna waiting on the other side.
"How are you settling in?"
she asked in a smooth voice.
"Oh, I'm doing fine, ma'am. I just wrote my folks letting them know that I arrived here fine,"
Elgar said eagerly.
"Good. You did remember what I said about keeping quiet your present location, right?"
Jasna asked, glancing around his room.
"Yes, ma'am. But I don't know if it will work, none, because everyone already knows where I am. And then I'm becoming a secret agent,"
he said.
"Well, we can still try to be discreet. Come with me. It's about time for dinner,"
Jasna said, leading Elgar down the hall.
"We eat breakfast at 7 and dinner at 6. Lunch is whenever you have it, and we always make whatever we want." "You mean I've got to cook my own lunch?" Elgar asked, sounding shocked. "I ain't never had to cook before." "Now you do. You'll learn, through your training and day-to-day activities, how to be self-sufficient, work with others toward a common goal, and how to take care of yourself in any situation. That any situation category includes making your own lunch," Jasna said, sounding slightly amused. Entering the dining room, all talk stopped. The other 6 men had obviously been on the lookout for them, waiting to meet the newest recruit. Jasna appeared unaffected by the stares she and Elgar received, said, "This is Elgar. Elgar, this is your new team. From right to left, it's Zarko, Isidore, Perun, Norline, Orvar, and Eld.
Nobody, with the exception of Norline, nodded at the introduction. Not expecting more of a response, she continued speaking.
Each of you will train Elgar in your specialty. By the time his training is finished, I want him ready to go on assignments with us.
Will you be training him too? Isidore asked.
Yes,
Jasna replied. At that moment a bell rang. What was that? Elgar asked as the men rose to their feet and moved toward a door at the far end of the room.
That's the meal bell. It means that food is being served,
Jasna said, walking toward the door.
This is the kitchen where you pick up your food and make your own lunch.
Elgar picked up a plate and watched everyone else get their food. Following them back into the dining room, he sat in the only empty seat, the one on the end. For a few minutes, the room was silent. Everyone was too focused on eating to say a word.
Elgar wasn't used to silence. At home, everyone talked, and dinner was a light-hearted time. They shared their day, told stories they'd heard on the farm, and were good-natured about life in general. Here, though, Elgar's fellow chipmunks were silent, stone-faced, and almost grumpy-looking. How was he supposed to live with a bunch of grumps? Wasn't being a secret agent fun and exciting? Didn't they have a lot of exciting stories to share?
Seeming to realize that Elgar's high spirits were plummeting fast, Jasna, who sat next to him, said in a soft voice,
Don't mind them. They don't react well to strangers, but they'll get used to you.
Speaking louder than before, so the whole table could hear her, she said,
Elgar, tell us all about yourself.
Elgar started talking slowly.
I was born in a small farming tree about 2 days from here. My mom and pa grow sunflowers, harvest the seeds, and then sell them to anyone with money. They don't make a lot of money most of the time, what with those taxes on farmers sucking up most of their excess seeds. So from time to time, they sell them on the black market. Those profits keep the farm afloat.
Getting into his stride, Elgar became more animated, and his spirits rebounded.
I'm the first of 6 kids my parents had. My parents just kept having us until there was no room left in the tree. I don't look like my brothers and sisters at all. They're tiny chipmunks, while I grew into a huge one.
Elgar was tiny compared to the rest of the black eastern chipmunk squad.
Every day, once I was old enough to dig a hole as deep as me, I'd go out into the field to help my pa. While he'd ride the bunny-pulled plow, I'd be sowing the seeds or covering them or pulling weeds. I really don't like pulling weeds, 'cause it can be dangerous work. This one time, I was pulling out weeds all by myself. My pa was at the local market trying to sell the seeds when this giant fox jumped into the field. I thought I was a goner,
he said, now really warming up to his subject.
Anyway, I had these sticks nearby, to prop up a sickly sunflower, and I brandished it like a sword.
Elgar got up to demonstrate how he had overpowered the giant fox and saved the seed crop from certain destruction. Time passed slowly for everyone except Elgar. The rest of the chipmunks were finished eating, and normally would have left to their own quarters, but Jasna gave everyone a look that kept them seated. As Elgar was about to start another story about escaping a giant's grasp, she said,
I'm sure everyone would love to hear this story, but it is time for you to go to bed. You'll be getting up early for your first day of training, and I'll bet you're tired from your journey here.
But, Elgar started to say. Then he saw the look in Jasna's eye.
So he said, Yes, ma'am. I'm real tired. Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone said in unison. Elgar walked out of the room, and Jasna followed him to the door, her eyes following Elgar as he walked down the hallway towards his room. Turning around and facing her agents, she asked,
What do you think?
Where did you find this guy? Eld asked.
I didn't find him. He was shipped to me,
Jasna said, taking her seat again. Shipped to you? Isidore asked, turning toward her.
That's right. I received an order from Madame stating we were getting a new agent, and 2 hours later, there he was at the station,
she said. Madame Penelope ordered you to take him on? How did that happen? Zarko asked, his forehead puckered with confusion.
Like most things in life, it's not what you know, but who you know. Elgar's Aunt Clara knows Madame Penelope, and she requested he join us. Madame agreed and sent him here. Simple as that, Jasna said, looking at her squad to gauge their reactions.
Mixed emotions showed on their faces. A few of the chipmunks were shaking their heads. Another showed no emotion, as if this happened every day. Incredible that someone that nutty and unskilled could get in so easy, Perun said. Maybe we should have stricter requirements.
He would have gotten in anyhow. So now that he's here, we have to teach him everything we know,
Jasna said, accepting the situation. She knew there was no way to kick him out, short of Elgar quitting, so there was no reason to dwell on how he got into the group. You really expect us to teach him how to be a fully functioning member of the squad? Zarko asked. The expression on his face indicated that it would take a lot of work.
Yes, now that he is here, we might as well teach him. Who knows? He might become an important member of the team, she said.
Who gets to train him first? Eld asked. Everyone's expression showed a slight horror at the thought of them being chosen.
I've thought hard about this, and I think we need to see how he does learning some basic skills. So I want Eld to take him on a camping trip and teach him all about wilderness survival, she said.
Me? Why do I always get picked for the hard jobs? Eld asked.
I don't care how you feel about this. You're going to teach him how to survive in the wild if he needs to. In addition, I need one of you to go with me while I do a little recon, she said.
The rest of the group's ears perked up at the sound of this. What's going on? Orvar asked.
There have been rumors floating around that the birds are threatening war against Aquerna,
Jasna said. The Blevins are threatening war? Why? Eld asked.
Tree writes. The Blevins believe the squirrels are taking over some of their tree space, threatening their land and right to live in peace. The Aquerna and Blevins are having peace talks starting this week, and I want to know what's going on.
Are we taking a side? Orvar asked, rubbing his knuckles as if he could not wait to get into a fight.
At this time, we simply want to see what will happen. These proceedings could affect us, and we want to be forewarned before that can happen,
Jasna said, getting to her feet.
I want everyone to get to bed now. Perun, you and I will be leaving early in order to get to Aquerna by breakfast. Eld, I expect you and Elgar to leave tomorrow for training.
When should we come back? He asked, getting to his feet.
Whenever you've finished with the training. If something happens at the talks and we need you back, I'll send someone out to get you. But remember, your job is to train him. I expect Elgar trained and able to take care of himself in the wild. If he comes back unable to pass my test, you will be in big trouble, she said slowly, making sure he understood. Everyone present remembered what happened the last time someone had gotten on Jasna's bad side. It had not been pretty, and nobody wanted to see that side of their leader again. I understand. I'll make sure he's ready. Good, she said, leaving the room. Stay out of trouble while I'm gone.
She walked through the door and down the hall. The remaining men waited a few minutes before speaking, making sure she was out of hearing range. Eld groaned aloud, thinking about training the new kid. Why does she always give me the hard jobs? He asked his friends. Because she likes you, Norling said, or else because your name sounds alike, Eld and Elgar. It has a nice ring to it. Norling ducked as Eld threw a nutshell at his head. Be quiet. I've got to figure out how to teach this guy survival techniques. Do you realize how hard this could be? Eld put his head on the table, as if he were in pain. Cheer up. Once you teach him, and he passes whatever test Jasna has for you, you'll be free of him, at least a little while. Then someone else gets to suffer the hardship of teaching him. Norling said, slapping Eld on the back as he passed him. That's right, Eld said, perking up. Once I'm done with him, you guys have to teach him. I'll soon be free. Don't get ahead of yourself. You have a lot of one-on-one time with Elgar in the future, Isidore said, leaving the room. Eld dragged his feet all the way back to his room. as if he were sentenced to the gallows. Foul Play was written by Trisha M. Wilson and read by R.L. Ferguson. For comments or compliments, just head over to Colbyjack.net and look for our contact page. Foul Play is released under Creative Commons non-commercial no derivatives license. Share it with whoever you want, just don't sell it or change it. Have a nice day. Foul Play is now available in ebook format from Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords. While you're there, check out our other titles such as The Nut Heist, the prequel to Foul Play, or Nightmare, a tale of obsession and murder. Links to all her wonderful titles are available at our homepage at Colbyjack.net.